Welcome to a professional learning video on capturing ideas and planning during the writing process. The aim of this video is to explore some possible formats you could use in your practice. In their combined research in 2018, Hattie and Clark argue that learning to write involves learners analysing examples of text, developing skills for writing, creating a model or plan, editing their own work, finding new or better ideas, collaborating with others, and discussing how their piece of text can be improved. The process of writing will not always mean pencil on paper for extended periods of time, and there are many contributing elements to how children learn to write. James Clements claims that one of the best ways of learning to write is by studying how real authors use words and language to communicate. Giving children the opportunity to analyse high-quality text means they can see how language is used for special effects. A good teacher of writing draws attention to the individual words, phrases, punctuation and grammar, as well as the broad themes and ideas in the text. If we can encourage learners to see themselves as writers and help them to see that they are in control of shaping words and language to create a particular effect on a reader, they are more likely to demonstrate greater motivation and perseverance, and will learn a whole lot more about the skills of effective writing in the process. Box planning is a visual device proposed by James Durran, a teacher and author of literacy texts. In his blog, he encourages us to focus our thinking and that of our learners on what writing is actually about, communication and effect. The success of a piece of writing can only be measured by how well it communicates or achieves its purpose for its intended reader, not by whether it contains specified ingredients. He argues that many writing schemes or programs can be too prescriptive and therefore restrictive about what should be included in a piece of writing to make it effective. Much of this criteria is based on the presence of ingredients, and he advises that we provide recipes, not just ingredients. With box planning, vocabulary, punctuation, and writing techniques are linked explicitly to purpose and to the reader. In the middle, learners state clearly what the writing is and its intended audience. Outwards from this are then the intended effects on that audience, or what the writing is meant to provide for its readers. Outwards again are the ingredients, the features which might help to achieve these things. With this process of constructing success criteria, the benefit is that learners are more authentically and actively involved in determining for themselves what will help them to achieve a quality piece of writing. This will emerge out of discussion and their reading and picking apart of examples. You may wish to see our other video on familiarisation with text. As a means of planning, it can be a dynamic, evolving tool, added to and adjusted as ideas are developed and shared through the various stages of writing. This is a tool which can live with the piece of writing through its stages, from reading and exploring examples, to planning and assembling ideas, to drafting and editing, to proofreading, publication and reflection. And of course, at every stage, the starting point for the teacher, peer or self-assessment process and feedback is whether the writing is achieving what it is intended to achieve. The approach is appropriate for all stages. Let's consider how by focusing on some examples. At early level, learners may have analysed the descriptive language used to conjure up the image in their minds of the Gruffalo before we see a picture of him in the story. Using what they have learned about choices the author has made, they could then experiment with adjectives, rhyme, even similes to create an image of their own Gruffalo monster in their reader's mind. At this stage, the teacher would be modelling this approach to planning, adding the contributions of learners and referring them back to this throughout the writing process. At first level, learners may have analysed the language used to engage readers in a non-fiction text, such as an information report. Again, using what they have learned about choices the author has made, they could then experiment with the organisation and layout, or add relevant images to support their own information. At this stage, the teacher would be modelling this approach to planning, However, learners should take more responsibility for developing their own plan, adding their own ideas and examples to the sections, and referring back to this through their writing process. At second level, learners may have analysed a particularly powerful passage which effectively builds suspense in a narrative text. Using what they have learned about choices the author has made, they could then experiment with adverbs, punctuation, and sentence structure to explore how they too can achieve a similar effect. By second level, learners should be taking responsibility for their own plan with some guidance and support from the teacher. Through developing this plan, they will be actively involved in determining how they intend to meet their purpose and achieve their intended effect. As learners progress into secondary, box planning still provides a supportive tool that can be used when creating text in different curricular areas. Take a moment to think about how this tool could be used in your practice. There is no one right way to plan. Models, flowcharts, post-its, spider diagrams, pictures, and even drawings can all be used successfully. However, particular text types have more appropriate ways than others. Considering personalisation and choice, there is always scope to provide opportunities for learners to tailor a planning process. For example, not all learners can sustain their focus when planning and prefer just to get down a brief outline or rough ideas. Others, particularly younger or less experienced writers, may require a more detailed and structured approach to help them refer to when creating their own text. Here are some further recommended readings or websites you may be interested in.